Yes, people, what's going on? Welcome back to United View. Good morning. Welcome to another morning view. Welcome to Amorim View, Amorim Revealed View, Amorim Promises View, Amorim Announcement View, and everything to do with the new manager View. Welcome, man. Happy Friday. Hope you guys have had a good week. Hope you had a positive week. Obviously, we played midweek. We've won. We scored goals. Ruud's happy. We're happy. Everyone's got smiles on their faces. And all the attention has turned towards, well, actually, I was going to say Chelsea, but it has, but it's not really. I haven't really, in doing previews with Matisse and talking about it, I have. But actually, it feels like in the media, which wait till you guys see. You lot, I ain't going to lie to you. I ain't going to lie to you. And actually, I'm glad we're live because I need your opinion. Well, it don't really matter because it's already recorded. So what you say doesn't really matter. I just want to know.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen Matisse. He's on it. He's coming with the smoke. Saying this is a shit Man United team. Don't care if they got new manager bounce. Can't beat us with no tactics. They're still shit. You got slapped by Spurs, slapped by Liverpool. We're scoring goals. We're Chelsea. And I want minimum dismantle, minimum 3 and all it. He's doing all that.
I saw in his preview title, he said like Chelsea 4, Man United 1, Chelsea 4 match preview. He's already done the score.
He said, I'm doing score lines. Yeah, he said whatever. So I said, whatever happens, you're coming up with +3 goal difference, whatever deficit, 4-1 or, 3-0 or whatever. He goes, yes. He goes, yes, we are. 6-3, whatever. He goes, whatever's we're coming up with goal difference +3. So I know, guys, you guys say, don't be like this, but don't judge, but I'm sorry, guys.
Don't be like Flex.
Yeah.
don't talk with the chest.
Don't talk with the chest. However, guys, I will say this to you. I weren't having it. And I thought I would defend our honor, our name, our badge, especially in our own fucking UVHQ on behalf of all of you. I'm not gonna let Matisse Armani Exchange into our place of solace, and let him chat shit to us like Ruud can't, galvanize, or we can't get a one-off performance. So I backed it to I'm talking, put him, like, we went at it. So watch it later tomorrow, right? Today, sorry. Watch it later on today. Yeah. And I told him straight, we ain't scared of you. That Eric's not here. This is, if anything, this makes Ruud more dangerous. He's not here for a good time. He's not here for a long time. He's here for a good time. And the worst thing you can do is underestimate us in this moment. We are the most this version. I told him, interim Man United, something different. Arcs Ryan Giggs, Arcs Carrick, Arcs Ollie. And he said, you're not beating us with no tactics. You can't do that. Cole Palmer. And he went on to proceed to list every single player they've got that are all good apart from Sanchez, and said, not happening. So I need all of you guys. We need us all to rise, because I have promised, and I'm kind of giving away what happened in the preview, but I don't care. Spoiler alert. I promised at the end, I looked you lot in the eye and I said, I promise if we beat them, which I think we will, the cookings of all cookings, I tell you,
I've got a bit of a feeling about that at the weekend, I mean, like you said, obviously you kind of spoke about this after the Carabao Cup game on Wednesday, that in terms of the atmosphere, maybe it necessarily wasn't the atmosphere that people were anticipating in terms of this, like, right, we're all coming together now and all that kind of thing. It was kind of, I think it was a kind of, well, let's see what we've got here then, kind of thing, and let's see how this goes. But I think Sunday, that will be completely different. I think Sunday it will be like, right, okay, because maybe, and we're going to get to this in a second, maybe we do know actually by then, and we already do know, to be fair, where things are going regarding Amorim. We know that it's going to be international break. We've got Ruud for the next 3 games, etc., etc. But you're right. I think Sunday is going to be a very unique atmosphere, and there is a bit of a feeling of, I don't know. There is a bit of a feeling of, why not? Why not? A couple of weeks ago, there would have been, it's going to be 3-0 all over again. Absolutely no way. But now, you never know. It could show up.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe. So that's just, I got off on a little bit of a tangent there, but it just took me there because it was I'm talking like I'm in my element. Like Jamaican Flex was out. Like I like.
Eubank settings.
You better watch out.
Correct. Because we are come for you.
Dreadlocks Rasta. Yeah. I'm telling you now.
So go dirty boy.
All of that. Yeah. So I'm not even joking. I'm not even joking. Owen hasn't even seen it yet. I'm not even joking. So and you know what? Afterwards, we both spotted fists and we went, I tell you what, that was probably just the best preview we've ever, like, he's ever done, I've ever done. The energy in the room was just there, and it was just so natural because, you know, like he said, Flex, I'm fuming, I'm coming for you, dude. He was looking around saying wondering how he's going to come in there on Monday and try and you know, decorate. How he's working out where he's going to he's doing all that.
Oh, he's getting out the measuring tape. He's doing, you know.
Essentially, he may as well in words form. He may as well have said that. He was basically, he's like, just looking at how I'm going to come in here and turn it blue. I said, what happened last time you did that? You came in my studio last time. Guess what happened? You ended up in the fucking Conference League because you said there's no way Man United are going to beat Man City. And guess what happened to your ass? Now you're in Kazakhstan. So I said,
Your rank. Rastafari.
All right, you're too rank, brother. You're too bright. You're too feisty. Yeah? Respect or no? Anyway. Ruben Amorim.
Yes. Ruben Amorim.
Yeah. This brother. I'm sorry. Oh my God. I need to calm down. I swear to God, if we beat Chelsea, he's finished. And I was like, the pressure's on you. Sorry. I know I'm pausing. I'm like, listen, easy game. We're 14th then. No worries. Little old Man United. Everyone has a go on Man United. No problem. You got Cole Palmer, you got everyone, you got Action Jackson, you got all these players. Should be easy for you. No pressure on Ruud. He's a clueless manager. Shouldn't even be there, remember? Easy, light work for you. Anyhow, it's not, brother. Because if we lose, we lose. No one's gonna. Do you know what I mean? There's no pressure on us. There is, because it's at home and you don't want to lose. But overall, if we did lose against Chelsea, like, our new manager's coming. Like, it is what it is. No one's gonna go.
So sit down and stay where you're there.
Right, Owen. That's the one to close it with. Sit down and steer where you're there. And move on to Ruben Amorim. Sorry, Owen.
You want to do the super chats?
I'm animated. Let me do the super chats. You could this is how I'm even thinking about it. I'm angry already. I just want it to be Sunday. Right. Man United says happy Diwali, Flex and Owen. And rest of Man United fans. Yeah, happy Diwali to everybody celebrating that, the Festival of Light. Yes, if you do celebrate Diwali, or if you don't and you enjoy it and you like it, or you work in schools or places where they embrace that, you know, like in the working place, I've always seen that in offices or schools or building sites, wherever. So Diwali is a festival for everyone. So big up to anyone who is celebrating Diwali. Big up to you. PS says, Flex, if we win and you can one up your post FA Cup incineration, you better make a separate UV playlist titled Matisse Armani Exchange Incinerations. You know what? Yeah, because that's what I'm on. That's what I've got inside waiting. And look, if we get licks, I'm actually so calm. Even if, obviously, if we lose, we lose. But it is what it is. I can tell if we lose, we lose, because we're in transition. We're waiting for a new manager. Ruud's just trying to get a tune out of us for a few games. But if we win, brother, if we win, oh Lord. Ray S says that Amorim will confirm after Sporting game tonight. That's what we are going to talk about. We are going to get to the actual news, I promise you. And David says, funny how Man City will get record viewings when they play Sporting with all the Man United fans watching. They will think they have decent support for a change. That's very true, because a lot of people will be on Amorim watch on Tuesday night. So yes, Owen, there is a structure to the show, and there is news. I've missed a super chat. Let me go back to that one.
Joe Fleming.
Oh, and Tabresh just brought one in as well. Let's go back to Joe Fleming. Joe says, I think we beat them if Cole Palmer is on the bench. Well, Joe, he ain't going to be on the bench unless he's injured. No. He's not going to be, so you might have to adjust that, bro, because Palmer's playing. Let's be serious. Yeah. And Tabresh says, if we score 5 versus Chelsea, Owen has to sing Original Nutter live on UV. Deal? Flex, you're going to have to be his singing coach, Yardman Owen Pending. I mean, we ain't scoring 5 against Chelsea, though. I think it's safe.
Yeah, there's a lot, and there's a lot of time for me to figure that one out. You know what I mean? Yeah. I know, obviously, you know, with my heritage, you know what I mean.
A Jamaican, yeah, look, man. I'm a Jamaican.
But you know, do I remember how that one goes? I have to think about it. Think about that
one. and Ray says, big up to you, Ray says, imagine the scenes if Amorim schools Pep. Oh, listen, let's just get him schooling like, you know, Glasner first, and, you know, Steve Cooper first, and you know, managers like that, Sean Dyche.
Yeah.
Let's school those guys. Lopetegui. Yeah, let's do that first, and then we'll work our way up. Because that's where I'm like, let's chill. But anyway, what's going on, Owen?
Right. Ruben Amorim. It looks like, Flex, we could be getting some information today. Now, Ruben Amorim, of course, Sporting, they're playing a game this evening. At one point, I wasn't sure if, Amorim's going to even be involved in that. But because they've got a game this evening, he had a press conference yesterday. And naturally, he was asked about Manchester United. Not as many questions as the other night. The press officer actually did protect him a little bit more this time. He was asked what he likes about the Premier League. He said everything. But as far as what comes next, he said, quote, Man United, tomorrow after the game, I will tell you everything. I will clarify my situation. Now let's focus on the game. Romano says the agreement is 100% done, as Ruben Amorim will become Manchester United manager, head coach from November 11th. Of course, that being the international break. Romano's also kind of doubled down on this morning, saying Manchester United and Sporting have prepared all documents for Ruben Amorim's move to be sealed in the next days. Same on the manager's side, as Amorim will sign at Manchester United until June 2027 as planned. Formal steps to follow soon. So we were actually kind of chatting before the show went live. Essentially how this is going to work, in terms of the timeline here, because yesterday, big outlets, I'm not talking like individual journalists, I'm talking Sky Sports yesterday were going with, he's going to be announced today, and it didn't happen. So you're sort of going, okay, then what's the timeline? But then when he came out and said, well, tomorrow I'm going to tell you everything after the game, you go, all right then. So are we, and this is what we were talking about before we went live, does this mean that we don't actually get any sort of formal confirmation from both parties until after the game this evening? Is he going to walk into the press conference, sit down and go, as you all know, I'm going to become the Man United head coach. It's from this day. It's from November 11th. I'm going to take the games against City, Braga, etc. And then I'm going here. This is going to be the new manager for Sporting, etc., etc. But that's very late. And would they do that very late? A statement coming out at like 10:30, 10:45 maybe. Would they just wait? Would he say it this evening and then a statement comes out tomorrow from both parties on a Saturday? Like, let us know in the chat. And Flex, what do you think? What do you think the timeline is here? Because that's what people are quite confused by at this point.
Because it is a bit confusing. I was just thinking, what way route? He's telling us he's speaking after their game, so we know that to be a fact.
Yeah,
he's going to tell everyone.
And it's done, by the way. There's no jeopardy here.
No. He's going to tell everyone, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, if you're going to speak straight after the game, I don't think it looks right if there hasn't been some form of official announcement before you say it. I don't think the news should be broken. I don't care. It's not like, oh, this is a disgrace of this. I don't mind. I'm just with the order of ceremonies when he's saying, I don't want my players to be distracted. I don't want to talk about this until I have everything. And I know they're going to be distracted because everyone knows it's happening. But in terms of him officially talking or official stuff out there, like done deal, Man United statement, Sporting statement, goodbye Ruben, thank you Ruben, or whatever. Well, no, it won't be that emotional one. It will be Sporting Lisbon have reached an agreement with Manchester United for Ruben Amorim to be the manager they won't do the goodbye Ruben thing yet. That would probably be after.
Yeah, but still games.
Yeah, there's still games. So I feel like what would make most sense, it's just a short turnaround. If I was in charge of chief operations for media,
chief operator Fleck,
comms manager, right? I would say, okay, well, Ruben has told the world now that he's going to speak after this game, which is at about 10 p.m., 10:30 p.m. in his presser. I think just how it goes, as soon as that final whistle goes, in that little period of an hour or half an hour or however long it is, 30, it might be 15, 20 minutes,
10, 15
whatever
minutes,
it is, whatever it is that it takes for him to shake hands with the players and that, go and do his post-match and then do his actual presser, a statement goes out. And then he can get in the chair and say, as you've just seen a short while ago, I can now confirm to you, as the statement says. Because I just think it looks weird if he goes in there, one, with the statement have been done at like today in the afternoon. Because then what he said of like, I don't want everyone to talk about it, my players, respect. Well, it's not going to happen. They're going to put a statement out before he plays a game. That doesn't make any sense.
But then it's one of those ones, isn't it, where, and this is what's weird with this kind of stuff. Now, so I watched Ruud's press conference yesterday as well. They're asking him about, Amorim and stuff like that. Going, have you spoken to him? And Ruud's like, has it been announced yet? And they're like, well, no. He goes, well, no, I can't talk to someone that hasn't been announced. But it's that weird thing that happens sometimes in football where everyone in the room knows that a deal is done or has been done, but because it's not announced, they can't like officially talk about it. And that's where it's a bit like now, isn't it? So, I mean, the players would be distracted anyway, I suppose. But, and also, again, this is where I was talking the other day about how it is a bit odd because he's still got other games to go as well. It's not as if he plays this game tonight and then he's gone. He's got other games to go, and they're really big games, by the way, as well. The Man City and Braga, for them, massive, massive games. So,
but the fact that it comes out before and he's still got games to play, I mean, like you said, that happens in football all the time. Sometimes people go to the end of the season. You know what I mean? Like sometimes people go months by just like being, and so look what Klopp did. And look what, even when Pep was on his way in, I remember he was announced before, and then they carried on. Obviously, same with Eric. There's a few more games left. Like it does happen, no problem with that. But I think it's just, if he's saying I don't want there to be, there already is, but in terms of officially from his mouth, he can't go on record if like it isn't out there on record. Like I don't think the person who's been employed should be the one to actually speak on it, like break the news worldwide first. Like,
he's
hearing
remained
it officially
pretty consistent,
now,
hasn't he, as well?
And that's why I think it has to.
He said the other day, didn't he? He went, I can't tell you anything at the moment, but I will be able to soon, or something like that. And then now he's like, I'll tell you tomorrow, basically. So,
and I think the reason why he's saying that is because what I think will happen is, I don't want to say during the game because that's probably a little bit rude as well. While they're playing and he's on the touchline, you just quickly release a statement. Sporting can't do that because they've got their club media and everything will be focused on the game. Like you can't go, 2-0, Gyökeres, 63rd minute, next post. Ruben Amorim's going Man United, 81st minute, 3-0, Gyökeres hat-trick. You can't just insert it in the timeline.
Do you remember? I don't know if this was actual like statement, but do you remember Martin Jol when he was at Spurs and he got sacked mid-match?
Did he get sacked mid-match? That's crazy.
Mid-game.
I don't remember that.
I think it was 2007. If you type it in, it's mad.
See, so you can't do that in 2024. You can't. Obviously, he's not getting sacked, but you can't announce, like I say, it sandwiched in between some Gyökeres goals. You just got. Oh, by the way, Amorim's leaving. Anyway, back to the game. You can't do that. So I think the reason why he's saying this, that I'll tell you after the game, is because between after the game and him speaking, which is a short turnaround, I think there will be some official word. Then I will be stunned. Not that I care like that, but I'd be quite surprised if he's just speaking freely about all the agreement, what's happening. I'm going there. I'm doing this. I will be saying goodbye. I've got 3 games left. And there's no official statement out yet. That just seems the wrong way around to me. But essentially, listen, it is what it is. I don't really care. But it is now, it's just one of the things that kind of just giving us a bit of not entertainment, but a little bit of detective work to just like, I wonder how this is going to work.
Yeah.
Unless you just found something and it's breaking news now. Imagine we say all this. Well, I'll tell you what, you say that, Flex. Statement right now.
No.
Because I just don't see how they can do that when he's like, I don't want my players to be distracted. I don't want this. I don't want that.
I was watching, like I think everyone's doing at the moment. I was watching some videos yesterday on Amorim, his background, his tactics, and all that kind of stuff. And I didn't realize that at the time that he went from Braga to Sporting, he was like the 3rd most expensive manager ever. And then you go, well, okay, well, you just hear those things. But then you go, well, no, take a step back. We're talking in football, and it's a Portuguese move. Like for Sporting to spend that money at the time, they genuinely broke the bank to go and get him. And it did pay off. I mean, the other most expensive ones are like, I think at the time it was like Villas-Boas. This is before like Nagelsmann went to Bayern for like 20 million or something like that. But at the time, again, he was like super, super expensive. And they were kind of saying in this video, they're like, that was a bit unheard of in Portugal. Like, you just wouldn't do that. Like, they didn't have that level of money to be thrown around, but he was that important. And they thought he was going to be that good. And he is. And at the time also, that would have been 3 or so years ago. So he was like mid-30s when that happened. So it's a very exciting one. We spoke about this in the summer, didn't we? When we said that there is this trend now, isn't there, with a lot of these clubs that they want to almost try and find the next manager, and that next manager is someone that is like late 30s, early 40s. And previously, like, I remember before when that happened, you know, it would happen like a decade or so ago where someone would come in late 30s, early 40s rather, and people would be like, it would never work because you've got not that big gap between the players and the manager in terms of age. But now, kind of the norm, isn't it? It's becoming more and more normal.
Yeah, because the batch of the elites, the batch of the Galactico managers, you know, when they all coexisted in one sort of realm, in one sort of era, it's almost gone. Do you know? Not gone because Klopp's still here. He's going to get another job at some point. Ancelotti has done so much. What does he do after Brazil? Sorry, after Real Madrid. Does he go to Brazil? Is what I was going to say. Pep, he's just conquered it all. How attainable is he for, like, you know, clubs that are in the Premier League trying to get the next best? Like these types of managers, you know I said about Zidane and stuff like that, about what he did at Real Madrid.
I think he wants France, doesn't he?
France, you know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? Thomas Tuchel looked like maybe someone who could return. And look, having the England job doesn't mean he can't. He's only got 18-month contract. We'll see. He could easily be attainable once again in the near future, depending how it goes. But right now, if you're shopping for a manager, which we were talking about in the summer, it was the managers' market, but the managers that it's a new batch. It is people like De Zerbi. It is people like Fabian Herzler. It is people like McKenna. Some people are saying Thomas Frank. It is people like Terzic. It is people like.
How old's Arteta still? Is Arteta like 40?
Arteta's like early 40s, isn't it?
Yeah, like, or maybe even.
And he's never managed before. It is Enzo Maresca's. Like up and coming. It is, you know,
Nagelsmann was, I mean, he was one, wasn't it, when he was starting out? He was like 30 when he started out. But then even now, like I said, he's still like late 30. So now you're seeing a lot of these, Vincent Kompany, another one,
Vincent
Kompany at Bayern. Exactly. Like, I feel like all of these clubs, they're looking for, right, if we find the next, you know, because the thing is, football is so, you have to be on trend. Like, you have to be what's current, what's now. And sometimes we have seen with these older managers, sometimes they don't adapt. And then football moves on very quickly. Football changes. And I think, you know, even when, you know, Pep came in at Barca, you know, he came through the Barca Academy, managing the B team. I think when he started, he might have been like, what, early 40s, maybe even late 30s at that time, you know? So, like, football has kind of shown, you're trying to find who the next is going to be. Because if you find him, then you're sorted for like 5-10 years.
And this thing about experience, of course, experience counts for a lot. You can't, we know that. Yeah. If you've been there and done it before countless times, and you can deal with the pressure, the scrutiny, the big egos, the volatile nature that comes with football, you know, you can deal with different scenarios of, you know, with people and players where you've seen this happen many times before in a transfer saga, or a player becoming unhappy. You know, those skills, you're going to be better equipped than someone who's young and hasn't seen it. That's just life, right? But what we've seen with the clear evidence in football and the evolution of coaching and the evolution of the game, and this is someone I'm old school, me, you know, football was better back when I am a bit old school like that, but I can absolutely see that the way football's evolving and these younger coaches with their new methods and how it is, yes, there's there's less place for the old school manager now. You know, with look at the players and how they respond and how they are. You see it all the time with some of the old school, and people call them dinosaurs and say that's why you don't manage anymore. It's exactly why they don't manage anymore, because that distance, that discrepancy between how players are now compared to how they were, what you can say to them, how you can criticize them, their managers, their agents, their rights, you know, all of this stuff. It's all different from academy
and
all the way up. So
the media, you see how the media kind of treats them as well. Sometimes the media wants new. The media wants new. The media wants fresh. The media wants energetic.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Sometimes,
you know what I mean?
They that's what they want too. So like I said, the actual head coach or manager's job in football has evolved so much, actually, kind of in front of our eyes in the last sort of, particularly in the Premier League, you know, in the last like 3 or 4 seasons. Yeah, so that's why I'm also excited about this one, because it is, not only is it new, but it's a very, very young manager for a massive job like Manchester United, you know, because you forget, I think even Eric's he's in like his 50s or something like that, you know, so,
and he's still classed as semi-young,
he was meant to be up and coming. You know what I mean?
Like, it's a good step for him.
So this is for someone to be still in their 30s managing Manchester United.
I mean, it's insane. I don't think we haven't seen that, have we? Would he be the youngest manager? And I'd have to go back. I don't know how old Sir Matt Busby was when he came in and stuff like that. So Alex definitely wasn't 30, was he, when he came in at United, or in his 30s? I don't think.
All right, I'm just looking on Google. It's to say he'll become one of Manchester United's youngest ever managers. I'll have a look.
There's back in like the 20s or the O something. There must have been, probably, to be fair.
He'll become the youngest permanent manager to take the reins since Sir Matt Busby. There you go.
Also, Sir Matt Busby was really young then, so he must have been.
Yeah, Sir Matt Busby was born in 1909, took the United job in 1945, making him 36 at the time.
Oh, okay, wow. So that's really young. So he's 36 when he took over at Man United. That's insane. Yeah. So, actually you could say, well, bit of a full circle moment, but
3 years older. Yeah, he's 39.
39. So that's incredible. I never knew that. I never knew how old Matt Busby was when he actually took over. That's a good stat to know. Good fact to know. So, but yeah, I feel like it's exciting, and this is the way forward. And you talk about that changing of the role as well from manager to head coach. It's a lot. You're seeing that a lot. These coaches are to work under a certain structure. But my biggest thing has just been like, I've seen it. The hype and the gas and the excitement. I'm not trying to just pour water over it, because we should be, but I've seen it. I've seen where you gas up what the accomplishments are in different leagues. And like we've seen, not just the Premier League, guys, and we can all agree on this, not just the Premier League, but Man United as well, in this form of itself, it's completely different. And that isn't to do what other people have done and go, it's Man United, does he not understand that? He's got no chance. No.
Yeah, no.
You can find the right guy. Like, you just got to keep going till you find the right fit. And my God, I hope this is Ruben Amorim. He's ticking all the boxes, but most of them tick the boxes before they come here.
Yeah, that's why they get the job.
Because you're going proven winner, been there. We need someone who's going to win now. We don't need something in 5 years. We've got players like Pogba. We've got Lukaku. We've got players. We need players like that. Well, I think Pogba came just after, but do you know what I mean? We're going to invest. We've got players for now. Alexis Sanchez, get him for now. Don't worry about future. We'll pay 400 grand a week because we've got Jose, we've got Pogba, we've got Lukaku. Get them for now. Yeah. And look, you go with Ollie. You go, you know what? He knows the club inside out. He knows what it takes to win here. Everyone will love him. No one will turn on him because, patience. Give it to him. And then you go, right, Erik ten Hag plays good football, proper coach, tactical, dismantled teams with free-flowing football before. He's the next one. He's the up-and-coming. Won titles before, so it's not like he's never won anything.
Well, we saw Ajax play, and when we want that, let's put that at United, Exactly. And then Eric said, "Can't do that."
Yeah, and now we're looking at Sporting and saying, "Give us that 3-4-3." Give us.
The thing is, I'm not. That's something I'm not doing. I'm not doing and I agree with you when you say this. That not that it's irrelevant because it's part of why they got the job, obviously. But I don't think, or we certainly can't. I don't think, because we've made this mistake before. Like you said, look at what they've done and doing at these other clubs and be like, that's what's going to happen at United. You know what I mean? Because as we've seen, it's a totally different beast. And it's about, what can you do at United with these players in that stadium, in this league, under that level of scrutiny and pressure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's why
you can't get too carried away. So I'm excited because I do think we needed a change. And I'm excited because I do think it's a modern progressive step for us. And I do think it sort of knits together the INEOS new structure better of having a head coach and all that kind of stuff. But when people are like, when Carve's doing the whole, he's the new special one, or, the Sporting Lisbon fans are crying that he's leaving and are like, oh, this is good. Or, you see stuff on like social media of like Sporting fans have written to me and they've said, we've lost our greatest ever manager. I'm like, well, we did hear that about Eric, 100%. So that's when you go, okay, that's great. But now it's about adaptation. It's about adaptation. And can they make the next step? Can they adapt to the league? And make no mistake, too, it's even arguably more difficult for Amorim because he's not getting a pre-season with the players. He's not getting a transfer window to get some players in to fix some issues for his system. Exactly. He's coming in mid-season in an underperforming team
work with what you got.
That's 14th in the league and being like, right, these are your players, make it work. And by the way, get results, hit the ground running. The expectation still, because it's early in the season, is that we should shoot up the league and possibly still win the Europa League this season.
Yeah, so, and I think there's so much room for so much eventualities with him coming in under this, because He's going to be afforded time, and he should be, because he's right at the start. He's in day one of his process in November, right? So no problem. Hasn't had a transfer window. You've come through mid-season where the players have been drilled like this for 2 and a bit years, and you've got to undo that. But like you said, we have to also think like really good managers can come straight in, and you see a change. Now, I'm not saying if we don't see immediate perfect improvement that it means he's rubbish, because it also doesn't mean that. It might. We have to. This is what I will say, and I know people are going to say, "You said this when Eric came. You said you was going to be patient." And for people who are not going to be silly about it, like if you're going to be silly, there's no point us discussing this. But for people who are just going to be rational and say, "Yeah, every manager deserves proper time, proper patience," until they've had a lot of time, i.e., over 2 years, and you're seeing regression, which is what we saw with Eric. Let's clear that up.
Or if it's like a Graham Potter situation where fundamentally, early on, it ain't working.
Yeah, because it's just there was never any good times or anything. It's just bad.
Literally, it got worse and it got worse.
So it might be there for like 9 months, and you go,
yeah,
well, this is. I mean, we're still 14th.
It's not working. Yeah, it's not working.
And I think if we're all rational enough, guys, I think if we put all jokes aside and getting cooked and like all the stuff that happens, if we just talk football, guys, as fans, if we're all honest with ourselves, I think we can all. We don't all agree, because that's why you get all these discrepancies. But if you're honest with yourself,
yeah.
But if you get what I mean, though, if you're honest, you can also come to a sort of a relative agreement that, okay, you could see he just needs a bit more time, or you can see that we are getting slightly better, or you can see that no, there's not been anything. So what I was going to say is, we might have to prepare to just we could just be shit for the rest of the year.
Well, let's say, right, this is a negative scenario, but let's say his first game's against Ipswich away. Let's say that doesn't go well, right? He tries 3-4-3, and it looks like people
and Ipswich end up with their first win in the season,
and we're like bloody hell. We can't after that game be like that 3-4-3 is never going to work.
No chance.
What I mean? Because you don't know. And again, this is when I talk about, because I saw someone in the chat say there, well, Arne Slot only got one signing in the summer, so he's got to work with the players he's got. That's not what I'm saying. Arne Slot, though, did get a full pre-season of hammering home, this is how I play, this is how I play, this is my...
And he got a flipping good team given to him.
Exactly.
Now, I'm not saying our team's not good, but Liverpool versus ours,
but
you've got a lot of repetition in there.
3-month period when you do have the players every day. And I mean, to be fair, this past summer, there was a lot of international competitions, fair enough. But at least you can hammer home, these are my ideals, these are my philosophy or whatever. He just won't have that time, you'll have to hit the ground running. And even in the international break, like you said before, you're dealing with players that are going to be all over the place, coming back a bit late. So the hope would be that there's not too much of a transition. Players are football players, they're professional. They at some point played in their career probably in a back three or played in a similar kind of system, right? So just get on with it. But there will be a period of adaptation as well, won't there? Of course there will be. There'll be a period of adaptation. So, and that's only natural, So and that is where I do agree. People use the cycle stuff, which I've said before. I think it's largely sort of buzzwords. But in terms of the Amorim cycle, we are at the beginning of that one. So with that comes probably some teething pains, or hopefully you get it like Arne Slot, where it doesn't really seem like there is any. They just win every game.
Yeah, exactly, and that's just it. We have to allow for that. What we can't do is see anybody just going mad after sort of within the first 10 games. Don't get me wrong. Of course, if you see, I get it, we're emotional. So if we see us getting slapped, game in, game out for 6 games, of course you're going to go, oh, what's going on? How is this? The players or this guy's supposed to come in. I was told he plays good I get it. You're going to question things in the moment, but we have to give him time to get stuff right. And at the same time, if we do see improvement quite quickly, we probably also need to be careful with that too, because new manager bounce is real, fresh ideas are real, and you probably don't get a true judge of how good or bad something is until you reach that sort of middle point, where you can go, right, there's a consistent sample size.
Fundamentals.
There's fundamentals, isn't there? There's a base level of performance. We don't go beyond this. There's a consistency about what we do with the ball. There's a consistency about how we defend. There's a consistency about scoring goals. There's a consistency about how little or how few or how much we concede. There's some form of consistency. You can't judge it if it's like this.
You look at like Unai Emery, yeah, because he was, he's a mid-season hire for Aston Villa, and we played him in the first game. Now, Unai Emery, in that first game, I don't know if you could necessarily see like the entire Unai Emery tactical system embedded in that Aston Villa side, because that's impossible. He's only been there for a few days. But what he did get in that game against us is they beat us by just the fundamentals of they ran further, they ran harder, they were pressed more intensely. It was almost in intensity, you know what I mean? Just beaten by intensity. And that's probably what he can do more immediately, you know what I mean? That kind of stuff while he gets across his sort of, more tactical side of things, pressing triggers, all that kind of bollocks, is that he can actually just, motivate and kind of inspire the players a little bit. And with the players that we do have, I know we sort of maybe do overrate them a bit, but that should be good enough to beat some teams in the Premier League. You know what I mean?
And look,
it was against Leicester.
Yeah, it was. And as I said, no spoilers, but this is what my point was to Matisse when he's going, how can you beat us? You ain't got no tactics. You dead with this manager. And Ruud was there the whole time. And I literally tagged him in the thing. It's so funny. You know the thing you sent me about Ruud? I hadn't even seen that yet. Yeah. And I was basically saying, bro, it's about just instilling the belief in the guys and saying, just go out there, express yourselves and run. There's no pressure. That is a dangerous scenario. It shouldn't be like that. You say the players are arseholes and why they can't. But when the pressure's off and you've got a bit of a new lease of life and the shackles are off a bit, I speak to some ex-pros, they go, they've been in dressing rooms. You just, all of a sudden, you can't even explain it. You just run that extra mile. You just, things start working. You start trying things. You start expressing yourself. The crowd's up. It just changes. And I'm not saying that guarantees you a win against Chelsea. Chelsea are a bloody good team at the moment. Better than us. So, it's going to have to be more than just that. You're going to need quality. You're going to need to be able to finish your chances and defend properly and, Marshall, Cole Palmer, and make sure there's so much. Like, I get it. But I'm just talking about the base level of Man United where he's saying, you are this team. You can't be anything else. Yeah. Well, that's dangerous, mate. Because the same way, that's what I said, that's how he ended up in the Conference League. Because he said, there's no way that shit Man United can beat Man City, which would make us go in the cup. They're not winning that FA Cup. And the reason why I thought that was because they're terrible. That is. But guess what? The occasion, the one-off tactics, the one-off players going, fucking hell, we lost this final last year. We've had a shit season. We finished 8th. Let's give the fans something. We're not losing today. That's what they did.
I hear what Ruud said. That's what he said in the press conference event. What was your team talk and that? And he's like, well, I just told them what it's like to play for Man United, the songs that they sing, playing in front of 75, 78,000 fans. And that's kind of it. And to be honest, that's what I sort of...
That's all he can say.
And this isn't a slight on Ruud or anything like that, or Ollie, but that's what Ollie used to say, wasn't it? Where he used to sort of just go, just tell him what it means to be a Man United player and go out there, express yourselves, go win the game sort of thing. And when you're in an interim role, and I suppose that was the problem.
It's easy to do that in an interim role.
Ollie was trying to do that when he's permanent. You know what I mean? And he'd been there for a while. Whereas when you're an interim and you go, look, I'm not going to be here a while. We could tactic this to death, but there's no point, because they're all going to change in a few weeks. I know you're all good players, we're at home. Go get them, play in a way that makes the crowd make a lot of noise, and we'll have a good chance here today. And just go out there and do it, sort of thing.
And not to bring it back to Ralph, but just as you was talking about that, he knew he was going to be there to the end of the season. So,
and he tried to implement something.
But he also tried to implement something. And I know people say, revisionism, that we should have kept him as the manager and he's this, look what he's done with Austria and stuff like that. Not getting into all that, can't bother. But in terms of what he tried to implement in that short space of time and get the players to buy into a completely new system before a new manager gets there, you can't do that. Like, if you're interim, it's about trying to make small changes and raise confidence.
You know what I mean? Always say, Flex, you're firefighting, aren't you? You're literally just firefighting, not even on a tactical side of thing, more so on like a personal side of thing, on a interpersonal side of thing, between the players, between the group, of just like, if we've got a happy dressing room, our performance level might go up sort of 20, 30%. And that's it. And to be fair, as he said, in the press conference as well, he's like, some of the games when we've been playing, some of the chances, or when we do play well for that sort of 20, 30-minute period, maybe if it was sort of, 20, 30% higher, maybe some of those goals go in. Maybe we do win some of those games. Maybe we don't concede some of those late goals. That's all he can do. That's all really Ruud can do at this point. So, yeah. And then as far as Amorim, all of that other stuff, about having, to get the players to buy into the system, that is going to be a bit of a challenge for him. But to be fair, it is almost a bit of a myth that Erik ten Hag lost out to player power during his time, because I think Amorim will get afforded the same things that Ten Hag got, in the sense of, Ten Hag had battles, whether it's public, private, or whatever, with, Ronaldo, Sancho, De Gea. He won all of them. You know what I mean? They all left. So, and I think, with that stuff about Amorim going, wow, he doesn't take any shit and it's his rules. I think he'll get the same backing, if not more, from INEOS, because this is now an INEOS hire. It is their guy, and it is imperative to them that he works, or it works out. So they are going to give him every possible sort of thing they can to ensure that he does work, whether that's public backing, whether that's private backing, whether that's he goes to him and says, I don't like this player is shit. They'll be like, right, we'll do our best to get rid of him. All that stuff.
They're fully in on this guy.
They're in on this guy. He is their guy. He is their,
and he's accepted the terms.
Yeah, exactly.
Under how they're going to work.
Exactly. So he's going to get back in, no doubt about it.
Yeah, for sure. Ray S says, after the Pep thing, he says, Amorim will say bye to sporting fans, I think. Yeah, I think that will happen. I think that. Well, no, because he's still going to have games left, isn't he? Actually,
yeah, exactly.
So no, actually, I don't think he will. Nick Noble says, I think we're seeing more younger managers because they're able to relate with the modern player. Imagine personalities like Keane and Scholes managing. Exactly. And
what you were saying, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, they just can't do it. And I know you've got Rooney out there, Lampard and Gerrard and stuff, and they've gone through different trials and tribulations early on. But what we have seen is that the GOATs from our generation of watching football, because we're old, don't always equate into top level managers, because it's really
that's always been the way, though, hasn't it? That's always been the way.
It doesn't really work.
Do you think maybe this isn't the best example, but people talk about like Steve Bruce, whatever, because of almost his managerial career, you forget like Mark how Hughes. Big of a player he was. Yeah. And it's not so they haven't had success, because they have. No, Steve Bruce has.
He's got 1,000 games,
multiple promotions as well. He's doing all right at Blackpool, actually, to be fair. Now, like you said, same with Mark Hughes. He was Premier League manager, managed his country, managed Wales for a time. But in terms of like that, like, you would have thought, considering the players they were, that they would go on to be like this ultimate, and it's sort of
Graham Souness.
Doesn't really, Yeah, I mean, in terms of a playing career, oh my goodness me, how decorated. But as a manager, so it doesn't always work that way, does it?
Kevin Keegan, it happens. Joe Fleming says that to sum up, I would say that means a manager needs short and long-term progression to be successful. Is that fair? Yes. Yeah. I think that's a perfect summary. You need short-term progression. So that means like, in the short-term future, i.e. within the early couple of months, you can see they're more organized. They know what they're doing a bit more. Because that's what I mean. A good manager and someone who's effective, it doesn't take ages to we've seen all these types of managers that are good just come in and instantly you see something. You go, well, they look more organized. We weren't like this before. There was gaps everywhere, holes everywhere, which was our frustration, because when we were getting run through, as Haley used to say, like a whatever. Yeah, when we I used to message Haley actually.
Like a dirty girl.
Yeah, when that was happening, right? We looked at it even as fans and were like, whether Jamie Carragher was saying it and you don't like the messenger, whatever. We're just getting pulled apart tactically, where everyone can see what's wrong, and you're not changing it. And then when he would go more conservative, 4-4-2, pack it out, we started to get a few results. We beat City like that. So it's like instantly against, look at that, against City. I know you can't play that every game, but you went, right, you've changed something and we look better. We look a bit more organized.
Again, this is when sometimes, and football does exist in its own reality outside of the real world sometimes, but in just everyday life, in your job, that's kind of the same for anyone, isn't it? You've got, you've ever been a performance review or whatever, and they go, right, here's your short-term goals, here's your long-term goals. You know what I mean? So day to day, we expect this, or in the next couple of weeks or months, we would expect you to be doing this. And then long-term, these projects, we hope get completed. And that's the same for a football manager, isn't it? So to your point, right, okay, next few weeks, we would expect to hopefully, like you said, look a bit more resolute at the back, maybe not concede as much, start scoring some more goals. By the end of the season, we're hoping that we're going to be in the Champions League. We hope we're going to be between here and here in terms of position, and hopefully win Europa League. Long term, 2 to 3 years, we want to be looking at, competing for the Premier League, Champions League. By season X, We want to be winning the Premier League. I mean, that's how it is, isn't it? But you know, the problem is, like with that long-term stuff, if you're not achieving, like you said, or having any progression in the short term, then people just immediately write off the long-term stuff because they go, well, we're never going to get there because can't even do this, and they can't even do the day-to-day. And that's kind of where it was at with Ten Hag, wasn't it? Like you said, you go, right, third season in, and we're like, what's the plan here, guys? Like, where are we going? So that'll be the case with Amorim. You know, if we're 18 months time and we're going, we've got a 3-4-3, but I have no idea what it is.
Exactly.
Then that's a problem.
That's a problem. That's a problem. And guess what? That doesn't mean it was wrong to sack Erik Ten Hag. It doesn't mean that, you know, it was wrong to try and go with Amorim. It means that it didn't work. So you have to start getting in your dossier of stuff again and look for the next. Like, I don't subscribe to this thing that you don't want to be a sacking club. No, we want to be a club who keeps searching for the right solution until we get the right one. That's what.
No one wants to sack their manager.
I don't want to just sack them for no reason and look like we have no plan. But unfortunately, we can see it, especially in football, how it is now. You just got to wait for the right matrimony. Like Chelsea, let's look at Chelsea. Have they done anything different? They've had in terms of like buying up loads of players and selling all these things and doing that. Like since Clearlake came in, they've been doing that. They had Tuchel for a bit, got rid of him. Lampard for a bit, that didn't work. Potter didn't work. They just kept just sifting through and go, right, this Maresca guy, let's try him. And now it's looking like they're going in a defensive situation.
But the thing, but this is the other part of it with the Maresca stuff, and it'll be the same with Amorim when he comes in. Yeah, let's say he has a rip-roaring start, brilliant start. That's when you do have to go, well, look, there are still a lot of games to go this season.
100%.
You know what I mean? Look
100%.
at last season. Spurs around this time last season, Spurs were celebrating being top. You know 100%. What I mean? Being like, because they won the league in November, remember last season? Yeah. And fast forward, didn't end the season too great. Now,
they've been on a shit run. Yeah.
Exactly. So you have to, you always have to be a bit weary of the new manager bounce, don't you? You have to kind of get past that and then go, right.
And then look at where you're at.
Now, where are we?
First of all, you've got to make sure you get a new manager bounce as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I'll tell you one thing, not having one of those is not good. Because
historically, we really haven't had. I mean, apart from the Ollie interim thing,
the Ollie one was the biggest.
In terms of a permanent new manager bounce,
no.
Have we had a permanent new manager bounce?
No, we haven't. No. I remember what did Jose? What was Jose's first game? Was it
Jose's first game?
West Ham.
It was West Ham at home, wasn't it? I think.
When Lukaku scored a hat trick.
But he didn't have Lukaku in his first season, did he?
No, so that must have been that. No, that was Lukaku. That was Lukaku's first game.
The first Jose game was Bournemouth away. I think it was, wasn't it, in the Prem? Obviously, he had Community Shield.
Was that Zlatan?
Zlatan scored, 3-0.
Scored, in the grey kit.
But but then I remember not that long afterwards, maybe like early October-ish, we had Manchester derby at Old Trafford, and it was like Pep versus Jose, and I think they beat us like 2-1, 3-1 on the day, and you'll go, you're a bit behind actually. You know, we're not where we thought. And that season, domestically in the Prem, we were not great. Like we finished 6th, and now this was the weirdest thing with Jose's first season is we had this really long run of not losing. It was like 20 games and not losing, but most of them were draws.
Draws.
Loads of draws.
And then obviously he turned his attention to the cups to be like, listen.
Yeah, like March, April, he basically went, I'm winning the Europa League. That's how we're getting in top 4.
Exactly. I remember that happening. I do. And because I remember also going to Arsenal under Jose, and we had the Europa League, I think like the same week, and he made changes and like some of the youngsters played and that we got slapped. But it worked in the end, and we went on to win the Europa League. So I remember being at the Emirates when that happened. Aminor says, Flex, we will go in for Frankie de Jong. LOL, please cook Ma. I can only cook him if we win, and I promise you, if we win, I will do the Lord's work.
And you got to double down because when KG and myself were doing the match for you on Wednesday, obviously with them going out Carabao, some people were like, call Matisse. He was like, not yet. Not yet.
There you go.
But if we do beat him at the weekend, you go, you're out of the Carabao as well.
Yeah, because he said it as well. He said that's fine. We played a BT. We made 11 changes. That's fine. So there's more. He did say that. He did say so. There's pressure on us. We better be going to Old Trafford and winning because if we don't, he said even he's going to cuss his. So we'll see. We'll see. Dan Baker says, do you think INEOS have a lot more eyes on them because this is their guy? Yes. Yeah, exactly.
That's what Owen was saying.
Yeah, Owen was just literally talking about that. Just two really, really quick things. Firstly, the Ruud Van Nistelrooy thing. I don't know if you have his quotes, but we could just discuss it. Just him basically saying that Eric was hurt. Him saying that he expects to stay as assistant manager.
Well, he was kind of saying, I don't know if he was saying he expects to stay. He was sort of saying, like, I'm happy to help. I want to help. I signed a contract as an assistant. I'll go back to that contract once a new person's in for 2 years. I want to help move the club forward. Like he very much was sort of saying that he wants to be part of whatever plans are moving forward, but he doesn't know either way. Did say that he spoke to Ten Hag, of course, on Monday when he got sacked. And also he spoke to him the day of the game too. I don't know if that was about, advice or just about the players or something, perhaps. Said he spoke to Sir Alex too. And Sir Alex wished him the best, wished him luck. To be fair, it was a really interesting one, actually, his presser, but obviously because we're so used to hearing Ten Hag speak for so long.
Was it a whole presser? Have I missed?
Yeah.
Was it shit. About the game, about Chelsea?
Yeah, about Chelsea. But to be fair, there wasn't a lot of Chelsea.
Everyone's going to
really,
ask him.
It was just more about him, his future, when he found out, he's spoken to Eric, he's spoken to Ruben, and that's when he was like, no. So they were like, is this going to be your team? And he was like, yes, for the next 4 games. And you kind of did get the impression with him, and he's a cool customer. Like, honestly, he's
see when you can just handle the meter, that the way you just come across, like it matters, man.
Yeah, he's a cool customer, and he was just sort of saying, look, I want to stay, I want to help, want to be here. Don't know how long that's going to be. He said he was told from the outset by the people in charge that it was only going to be a short-term thing with him being in charge, basically being told, we're going to get someone new in. You're only going to be in charge for a few games. And he said, that's fine. And afterwards, he'll go back to being an assistant and basically see what happens. So clearly he wants to stay. Whether or not he will, who knows?
Yeah. And one really last thing, I just wanted to ask everyone how they feel about this. You've not probably seen on X, I was on my show on TalkSport with Dan Bardell the other day, right?
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about you being scared of the animals.
We'll talk about that in that show.
I did watch that in the end.
There's no news there, is there? I mean, I've told you lot I was. You've seen that I am. I don't hide it. But,
What's that? Oh.
But at the end of the day, mate, they all tried to take piss out of me yesterday.
Even when it wasn't you.
I was still there. Because I just don't like, just them being in it. I was just scared. I just don't like it.
AGT goes, it's a cockroach. You go, no.
I don't like it, bro. I hate that shit. But to show the young children watching, I was scared. You could see I was not comfortable. I stayed where I needed to stay. My hands were on the table. I didn't run off. I didn't refuse. I faced it. I faced one of my fears. You can't tell someone that their fear is not real to them. Just because this is when people go, how can you be scared? It's not your fear, mate. How can you be scared of heights? I'm not scared of heights. I would happily jump out of a plane. I want to do a skydive. That's one of my dreams. I want to do a skydive.
Don Robbie. Every time something came out of that box, you were like,
hold on, wait a minute.
Yeah.
It's a frog. It's a frog.
No, wait a minute. Wait.
Frogs are awful as well. So Abby was shook at that. That's one of her number one. I think that is her thing. She's scared of the biggest thing, and spiders. So, but listen, it is like I am not. But people are like, oh, big hard flexor, big 6 foot. Oh, he's scared. I don't give a shit, mate. Your fears are your fears. Like I said, I'm not scared of jumping out of a plane. I'm not scared of.
Are you not?
No, I want to do a. I love all that. I'm not scared of heights. Like I'm not. Yeah. KG was squealing when we was at the top of that thing.
I don't blame him. Yeah.
So I get it. People can say, and then they say, right, because that can kill you. Well, okay, fine. But I'm not scared of that. I'm like, yeah, bring it on. I want to jump out the plane, mate. That's wicked. I love heights. I was swinging around the what stadium is it called again? Optus Stadium. Hanging upside. I'm like, oh, look at this. This is brilliant. I'm not scared at all. I'm not going to KG. You scared? Why are you scared?
Well, I'd like to say you'd be above Optus Stadium, hanging there on a harness, yeah. But the most thing you'd be scared about is if a bee came.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
No, I'm all right. A bee's like that's more just
or some kind of flying insect or whatever. That would be,
yeah, just like moths and.
You can't say a bee. There's been bees in your room that you're in now during shows, and I can see you start going like this.
Yeah, because I don't want to get stung. Do you want to get stung?
I'm scared of everything.
So what would you be like in that room then with them animals? What would you have been like? Would you be scared as well?
Yeah, I don't know if I'd been
feel
like this. I
uneasy?
don't know if I'd be a screamer or anything like that. Though I don't. That's not really.
Would you touch them animals like I did? Would you like?
Well, I told you before, right? Where I am, I had a few years ago, I had some problems with mice, didn't I? I had some problem with mice. See, and that was Flex's reaction. And I was initially I was like, oh, but then I got used to that. I got used to that, and we dealt with it. And we dealt with it.
But to be fair, I think
when I would tell you,
into...
I told you on the phone about the mice, and then whenever I would, I just heard Flex go.
Yeah, nah, I'm not on that. Mice and rats. But again, spiders I've got better at, like domestically, because like I just got to get them, like because you know in your house it's like there's no option. Like,
no,
like when I'm in here, how many times have I sat and I've gone, oh my god. And I've just, and then you go, right, psych yourself up. You go, right, you don't pay rent in here. Like you don't get to be here. You're going. So I've got better at that because I would never do that before. So I got better. And actually that for me, you know what? For me, the other day, that's progress for me. I'm happy. I'm very happy with myself.
Good.
Because if you asked me to do that a couple of years ago, mate, I'm just not turning up. I didn't want to be that guy. Our Flex isn't on the show today because he couldn't. You know what I mean? I'm not being that guy.
And you travel, so like you doesn't stop you bothering travel going to Australia or China or wherever, you know, because that's what freaks me out. I just don't know if I could do Australia because of that.
Yeah, well, but actually, what I've learned from doing Australia is that it's when you go to like mainland in the city.
Yeah,
like,
they stay away.
Like I didn't see snakes and like massive fucking tarantulas,
spiders,
kangaroos, and that. I didn't see any koalas. Like I didn't see that.
Because you know, like whenever you work in like an office, there's by the way, if you ever work in an office, there's always someone that went, I spent a year in Australia. There's always one.
Yeah, always got travelers to year out.
There's always one, and that's the first thing I'd ask. I go, is it true? Like, you know, when you wake up, sometimes you have to check your shoes, and they went, no. Sometimes you have to check your bed. I'll go, well, that's not really. Then I'm not going to do it.
I mean, if you're living in the heart of Melbourne, mate, you ain't seeing that.
Exactly. That's fine. That's fine. But then I go, then when are you staying? Like, you staying in the outback? Like, just no.
No, not on it. So yeah, I enjoyed it. Actually, that Villa thing, I can't bother to talk about that now. That's whatever. So yeah, who cares? Flex, I hear you. But to be shit scared of a snail. Yeah, well, I don't like it. Touched it. Like, didn't want to see.
People asking, are you scared of pigeons?
No. Nah, just tell them fuck off. Like,
do you ever have it like
diseases and shit? I don't like it.
You know when you're walking towards like a group of them and they don't move, and you go, you've got to eventually.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The ones that are in the cities, they're so used to people.
That's what I mean. That's what freaks me out though, because I'm walking through them and I go, I know, mate, you're all going to jump up. I know you're all going to try and fly away. And
yeah, no, I'm not scared of them. I just like because they're they're dirty and so you look at some of them. I don't know how they're hanging on. Got no legs. They've got no bloody.
Once I was walking back and I thought a ball hit me in the head. It was a pigeon.
That's true. Your pigeon just
it went poof, like that, and I thought, and I looked around, and I was like, you know, one of those ones you look around afterwards, you go, did anyone see that?
Yeah.
Did anyone see that? The pigeon flew into my head.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not scared of that. And like seagulls and that, just like because they might take your food. I'm like, it's not like I'm not.
Yeah.
And birds, I'm all right with. It's just like creepy crawlies and like things like that. I just don't like it. But anyway, there you go. Guys, we didn't push likes at all for that. That was really bad, actually.
Phobia view.
Phobia view. There you go. A lot's going on today. So the Trinity is later on, 12 o'clock, 12 p.m. Please make sure you check out and get commenting. I want all of your support. In the preview with Matisse later on. And also in that video, it will explain more, but the next homily will be tomorrow at 10 a.m. If you haven't joined homily, you can do with the next video coming out. I'll tell you exactly how to do it. Link within the video description below to get the app, and you can join in our newest community where you can call in, have your vote, have your say. Me and Matisse will be live on there 10 a.m. previewing the Chelsea game. And we did so much shouting and screaming yesterday when we recorded that actually we'll probably do a bit more of a tactical thing, talk about the actual teams. Because we got to the end of yesterday, we went, didn't we talk about starting lineups, prediction lineups, how we think this is going to pan out? It was just tit for tat, but it had to be done. So yes, so join us for that tomorrow. And of course, tonight, we will see what happens, man. We'll
Yeah,
see how
we'll
it
see.
transpires. I'm sure quotes will come out and stuff like that, and they will be addressed accordingly. So yeah, we will definitely be seeing more of you today in almost every capacity. So yes, take care, guys. See you later on shortly. Peace.